Welcome back to this week's YouTube Live in the podcast. My name is RD. Welcome to the Waterfowl Den. Hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday. Definitely tell it's getting darker sooner. Typically the camera to the bottom down there where the deer come up and eat still shows sunlight. Now it's done switched over to nighttime mode, so I definitely know that it's getting darker out there. So, man, it's almost hunting season in South Carolina. There's going to be a lot going on this weekend. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk weather. So hopefully y'all doing good. We're going to allow a little bit of time for people to get on. But it's going to be a big weekend for South Carolina. Got 2 seasons coming in, depending on where you at. It could be deer season also, but this weekend is dove season and early goose season starting off. So my favorite time of the year, and also college football. But first I want to start out today talking about the gunman who opened fired at the Catholic school. Just want to say it's terrible. Like, all I could think of earlier was, what if that was my hometown? What if that was mine? And there's a lot of information still coming out about that, but it's just sad that we can't protect our own kids, and it's super sad, and my heart goes out to the parents that lost loved ones. It definitely looks like 2 kids got shot today in that school shooting, and I think one was like 7 and 10. I mean, I know it was pretty young, what I read earlier. So there's gonna be some stuff coming out about that for sure. But we don't know. Regardless of the rules, typically I want to throw out like facts and all kind of statistics about guns and ammo, but today I just don't think today is the topic on that for sure. But thoughts and prayers to them family members. So this weekend is definitely going to be busy. If you've been keeping up with me, hey Jacob. So I'm going to switch here cameras real quick. I got one new camera added. I'm calling this this right here is the Tony cam. How you doing, Tony? I'm getting all personal tonight. But if you've been following for a while, y'all know that for the past, 3 weeks, we've been dealing with my wife finding out she has cancer, and Friday is surgery day. It does look like stage 1, and it appears so far that once they go in there and do the surgery, take it out, we'll know more about treatments and stuff after that. But as of what we know now, Friday is surgery day, and it's going to take about 4 hours. It's going to be pretty difficulty where to get to her, where the cancer is, to get that out. And so we're praying for the doctors and a good recovery. She's going to have to spend a couple of nights in the hospital. So our weekend is definitely going to be busy. But for the rest of the people in South Carolina, I'm going to throw this up on the page here. Find my mouse. It's going to be a lot going on. So in South Carolina and lots of other places is dove season. So morning doves is going to start September the 1st. Just remember, it's 15 birds per day, and I guarantee you better have a plug. Now is the time to check and make sure you have a plug in your gun. And don't put a twig in there, because I promise you, if they push that third shell up in there, technically you can only have 3. So if you got 1 in the chamber, they're going to have 2 in the magazine tube. Once they try to push that third shell in there, if that third shell goes in there, if that stick breaks or if it bends and they get that third stick in there, well, you're getting a ticket. So all I can say is, now is the time to get your stuff ready, not September the 1st. But I seen a lot of doves been flying around, so hopefully it's been pretty good. I cut about half of my millet. I knew that opening weekend was this weekend, but I also knew that I was not going to be able to hunt. So I just went ahead and cut half of the millet. That way they're moving in, they can get some stirring around, but I'm going to leave the other half for when I can actually hunt. And I got a small millet field. It's not very big. I typically plant millet just for the kids. I do love eating dove. Dove is really good, especially the way my mother cooks it with gravy and rice. Typically, I don't get to eat none. Typically, when I'm in here, lost my mouse. There we go. Typically, when I'm in here, my daughter comes in from school and she eats it all, and there's usually none left for me. So our favorite way around here is gravy in a crock pot with some dove, and then put that over some rice. That is some good eating. Now, I know some of y'all might eat your dove wrapped in bacon, and anything with bacon on is good. But I'm telling you, this time try some gravy in a crock pot. Let it cook. It'll be so tender. Throw it in there. It'll be like rice and Salisbury steak. What's up, Matt? Man, Matt, it is almost teal season, man. So this weekend is opening dove. There it is right there. September the 1st. We already talked about that. But also starting this weekend is goose. I wonder if they spelling it goose or geese. Let's see how they spelled it in the catalog. Trying to find the dates. They spelled it geese. So September the 1st through the 30th is opening Canada geese. Now remember, there's a limit on Canada's. So the beginning September the 1st through September the 30th, you can get 15 geese. And then once the season comes to an end and regular waterfowl season comes in, that bird number totally changes to 5. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Same rules for geese. 3 shells. This ain't conservation week or month, or different states where you can have extended tubes and everything else. This is still following the same rules. You get 3 shells. But middle of the month, this is what we're looking forward to. This right here, early teal, blue and green winged teals. There's another teal there. That's the cinnamon teal, which I personally do not know anybody who has shot a cinnamon teal in South Carolina. But over the years, I'm 100% sure at some point in time, somebody's probably got a cinnamon teal in South Carolina. I know sometimes they get them down there in Louisiana, but I don't know anybody. But blue and green winged teals is coming in September the 20th to the 28th. That's 8 days. And early teal is sunrise to sunset. So take into consideration that's early teal, but Canada geese is normal 30 minutes before sunrise. So don't get confused, and that you don't want to get confused on that. And definitely be paying attention, because people are going to be dove hunting. It's probably going to stir some geese up. So I love to go geese hunting in the mornings, and then around lunchtime dove hunt. I mean, you can't beat that. 2 different species during the same day. But during this weekend, it's football. Jacob says, when does your teal season start? We get cinnamon teal a lot in Utah. So Jacob, there is a delay. So by the time I saw your question there, I already answered the when does early teal. So we got about 22 days, something like that. But yeah, man, I love to shoot a cinnamon teal. Utah's a little bit of a drive for South Carolina. But I would definitely keep that in mind where cinnamon teal are. But yeah, this weekend kicks off some football. There is a game tomorrow. We got Boise State in South Florida. That's going to be pretty interesting. Friday, a game kicks off, and then Saturday is when most of the games kicks off. Texas and Ohio State. That's probably going to be a really good game. Georgia, Alabama, Saturday. South Carolina, Clemson kicks off. This right here would be a very interesting game. LSU and Clemson, Saturday at 7:30. That's going to be really interesting. LSU's ranked 9th. Clemson is ranked 4th, and they probably shouldn't be. But hey, there it is right there. That's the team. South Carolina Gamecocks going all the way this year, baby. Maybe basketball. But, yeah, South Carolina's playing Virginia Tech. Right now we're ranked. We'll see how that goes. But mentioning football, I still have some openings left. Why is it so short? Tony, are you talking about teal season? I'll drive. You split the gas. Utah bound. Heck, I don't know if we got... I was going to say, I don't know if none of our vehicles will make it to Utah driving. But I forgot, buddy. You got a new truck. So we could actually make it to Utah. But, Jacob, where at in Utah? Don't give me an address. Give me a town or county, something like that I can throw up on the map there where some good teal hunting is in Utah. But I have some open spots left still for fantasy football. Need to get them spots filled because we're picking next week. Let me log in here. See if it allow me to. If you never played fantasy football, it is professional teams, but don't get caught up on that. That is not what fantasy football is about. So let me pull this back up. All right, so here is fantasy football. If you never played fantasy football, it's basically we will have a day. It says in 6 days, so basically next week. Fantasy football is a draft. Everybody gets to participate in the draft, and it doesn't matter where you start. If you start first, in the next round you go last. But basically, you pick players. You're not really picking teams. Let's just say Mahomes. If you were the first one to pick, you would pick him as a quarterback. Well, you got to fill your each positions. You got to pick quarterback, running back, every spot. So when it's your turn to pick, obviously they're going to have all the rankings of the players. So you basically want to pick the highest one that you can get during your pick. And everybody will pick, and then Jacob, I'll look that up in just a minute. So when you pick and everybody's done, when football season starts, week 1 of football, whoever players you have that play that week, how they perform, you get points. So if your player goes out there and gets a lot of touchdowns, well, you get more points. The more points you get, the better you are that week. If your player goes out there and breaks an ankle, then you don't get no points and he is benched. So you would have to then trade him out for another player. And it's basically just swapping out. It's really fun because you're not picking a team. You're picking a player for that positions, and you can have like 2 quarterbacks. So if one quarterback's playing better during the first season, you put him in. You really don't have to keep up with watching the game because you could do it all in the app. So if anybody's wanting to play, let me know because I will be glad to drop that in the chat here. But I need a couple more people to play this fantasy football. So, Zach, that's exactly right. It's almost healer. And I know, son, you like some geese. You about the only person I know that like geese is about as much as I like geese. But I don't have that horseshoe that you have that gets the snow in South Carolina. You're the only person I know that's shot a snow goose in South Carolina. Tony wants to know why the season is so low. Tony, I don't know if you've seen this, man. Let me show you. Not sure if you were in here when I showed this. I now have. He was getting on me earlier. He was like, I need to change the cameras around. I now have the Tony zone. Let me talk to you, Tony. Our teal season is so short for 2 reasons. Mostly number 1 reason. They are here today and they are gone tomorrow. Teal are like some of the fastest birds. Teal will make you look like you have never shot a shotgun before. The way a teal, that is a fighter jet. That is exactly what they are. The way they can fly, put on brakes, turn, bob, and weave blows my mind. But yes, the reason why we only have a short time and why is it so early? Teal are small birds. They are about the size of a wood duck, which you can't see the wood duck on the other side. But teal and ruddies and wood ducks are some of the smallest birds there are, and some really good eating. If I had to pick any birds to eat, the teal would be my top choice. Then a wood duck, then a goose, and then everything after that's just But teal is my favorite. I don't know, they start moving very early. Around September is when our teal season comes in, and it's usually the later part. But honestly, if the weather pushes them, they're gone, and you won't see nothing. I really wish, and I highly doubt anybody from DNR, or not rightly DNR, but the people that's on the boards that pick stuff for South Carolina, I really wish they would allow wood duck season during teal season, because the way it is, they're both the exact same size bird. The only thing is, during teal season, we cannot shoot. There are so many wood ducks in South Carolina, I do not think that we would hurt the population at all. But that is the second reason for a small teal season. We had a longer season last year, and their population control cut it down. So it's all about surveys. Now, how did they survey? We could talk about that in a minute, but I'm looking up this that Jacob says. So we're going to find where he's talking about teal, because I know absolutely nothing about Utah. So let me pull this up. Man, that's interesting there. All right, so let me pull it up on the screen here so everybody can see it. All right, so here's Utah. Yeah, buddy. Man, Matt, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know if neither one of our trucks can make it out to Utah. So Utah is right outside of Salt Lake City. So it's the Great Salt Lake is where he said we have areas in the Bay, WMA, Refuge, great areas. So my buddy, Salt Creek Ammo, Jacob, do you know Keith from Salt Creek? He is from Salt Lake City, out that way somewhere. One of these days I told him I'm going to come out there and hunt with him, but I didn't know y'all had cinnamon teal out there. Matthew says, man, I got it, and I'll buy Jacob lunch too. Man, he put us on some cinnamon teal, son. I'll buy him a T-bone steak. But yeah. So that looks like a pretty big area of water. I wonder how salty it is. Where's my sound, man? That's where I need my sound. Well, that is not the right one. That's definitely not it either. I don't have anything corny like an old dad joke. That's all I got. Salt Lake, salty. Yeah, there's some people in here probably salty. Yeah, Keith is in. How far is that? Tildo. Funny you say that, Mike. I put out, switching cameras here, I put out, if y'all tuned in last week, we had a pretty nice sized doe come in on camera. She was not happy because I let the salt block run out, and I've now got a new salt block and a new mineral blind. And this area right in here, they got it all tore up. I mean, she was out there digging holes, I guess, where that mineral block and the rains done got the minerals, into the ground. But yeah, she was out there tearing it up. So there ain't nothing on camera right now, but I'm still keeping my eye on it. And like I said earlier, you can definitely tell that we're starting to get into fall, because the past couple weeks the sun has been up and we could see, and as soon as I went live tonight it was already dark. So fall is in the air. That cooler weather is out there and I'm loving it. But yes, in South Carolina, we already got some people that's deer hunting. It's gonna be a little bit before our zone comes in, but so Keith is about 2 hours. I tried to get Keith on tonight. Keith has a new shotgun shell out. I can pull up certain photos while we're on the live, but his wife was sick and he couldn't make it tonight. Let me try to pull up. There is a photo that I want to show y'all, because I am working on a couple videos tonight. Well, it's going to come out in the weekend and then the next weekend. So here is, alright, now let me share my screen. So here is Keith's new shell. I don't know how to make it where you can see it, but he's got a new steel loadout. I've been shooting Keith's bismuth for 2 years. I love bismuth. I only shoot bismuth, and everybody in here knows that hunts with me knows I preach some bismuth. But bismuth is one of them items that pretty much got banned from China. Not banned from China. China banned them from coming into the country, and you can't get them. Like, unless you got very, very deep pockets, you can't afford it. It is so bad that you can buy straight TSS loads cheaper than you can buy bismuth loads, which makes absolutely no sense. So this year, I am going to be mostly shooting steel, and I do not like shooting steel, but that's what I'm going to be shooting, and I'm going to be shooting some of my TSS and duplex. Now, Keith did help me out on that. When I was designing that, he helped me get that pressure tested. Keith is a really good guy on helping people learn how to reload. And the one goal that he told me was to keep all 10 fingers. And I still have all 10 fingers. But this new 3-inch that he has that I got up on the screen, this is one of his new products. It is a triple curl, which triple curl is not new to him. He's got the triple curl TSS and the triple curl steel, and this is the triple curl steel. It is a 3-inch shell, number 2s. There's 169 pellets in a shell. It put 149 in that circle, so that's 88%. You typically want any kind of shell that can put 80% in a circle. There's a lot of science. There's a lot of people that you can listen to. I am not the smartest guy in the room. Wait. I am the only guy in the room. So, yeah, right now I'm the smartest guy in the room. Man, that feels kind of good to say. Woo. Wow. So, with that being said, Keith has took a different approach to steel. The pellet hasn't changed in a long time. Steel came in during when lead got banned. So marketing is key in a lot of stuff. They want to market their shells the most. So a lot of them are now making shells that's the fastest shells out there. 1,500 feet per second. 1,450. How fast can we make that still go? Well, the problem is, again, I'm not the smartest in the room, but science says the faster you make something go, the faster it's going to slow down. So they have pushed steel so fast that as soon as it comes out, it is blazing speeds. They're hitting each other, and as soon as they come out, they spread open, and you're blowing out your pattern. So Keith has went the opposite way. Slower is better. So that percent that I just showed you, 88%, was at 35 yards with the factory choke. I ain't even did my kick chokes yet. This was just a picture with the factory improved cylinder. That's right, improved cylinder. Because you don't have to have a tight choke when you're not going 500 miles per hour. So with that being said, Keith has got some new steel loads out. So number 2s are really showing some good stuff. So if you're looking for some steel loads, definitely give Keith a call. Mike's asking, am I going are you getting the new tideweed waders to try? I would like to say I hope so, but at this moment, Mike, no. I've seen them tideweed as partnering up with another YouTuber, way bigger than me. But hey, we're at 25,000 now. We're a quarter of a way to getting a plaque. A quarter of a way. Honestly, it blows my. It really does blow my mind. Like I honestly felt if I ever got to 10,000, I would be doing something. And then it just blew up, and now we're at 25. And that was 25 the other day. We are at 25,234 subscribers now, and I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate every single one of you that's in here listening to me on Rambling Wednesdays. I'm trying really hard. I'm upgrading mics. This one's just temporarily a new mic, but I'm trying to get better. I've got people lined up to come on. Next week, we're going to have a guy on who is a guide from Arkansas and is also shooting for retail this year, and is a big-time duck caller. He's in the competition, so I can't wait to have him on. I got Big Mac, which Big Mac has been on here before. Big Mac will probably be on in, I think, 2 weeks. I can't look. I don't know. I don't have my schedule with me, but he's going to be on 2 weeks. He was the guy and the son who made the dippers that would for reloading. He also has a guide service for fishing, and he's in Michigan, so we're going to have him on. We're going to have a guy who makes deer grunt calls on. He also makes duck calls too, but he's in Georgia. He's going to be coming on in probably, I think it was like September the 24th, something like that, on a Wednesday. So there's going to be some really interesting guests coming on. I do reach out all the time to people. It is really hard to get people to come on. One, it's busy. I understand it. Two, it's live. Three, it's at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. To get somebody dedicated to talk on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock is also hard to do. And I understand that. I understand it's church night. I understand people's got families. But I also like to do the lives so that it's question and answering. Like we can have a conversation, and I like to have guests on and y'all can ask questions, and if I didn't ask a question that you think needs to be asked, heck, I can read it. It may be about a 20-second delay, but hey. Jacob says, I reloaded myself and tested those shells all last year. Yeah, I love reloading. I got a bunch in there. I don't even know how many lead 7.5 I loaded last year, but man, last year and this year, I went through some shells. Mike Green, you'll have the same results as you did last season. I hope so. Mike, our early teal was amazing. Our early season, was amazing. Our last part of the season was almost terrible. I mean, it wasn't almost terrible. It was bad. But if y'all have not saw the forecast, they are calling for cold weather this year. And we are on the cusp of actually being in the snow. I had to Google what snow was. It was the little white stuff that falls out the sky. We don't typically see that too much. So Tony's saying, am I bringing the triple curl to Arkansas? So let me put it on the Tony cam. Yes, I am bringing the triple curl. Possibly. I'm working on triple curl all season long. Hey, that's probably what I'm going to be shooting because I ain't got nothing else to shoot. Because look at that joker right there. You see that bird? It's not that bird. That's not the bird, Mike. I know you're going to comment. We'll talk about that in a minute. But y'all look at that joker's face. He cheesing. That's a cute photo too. But yes, we'll talk about Arkansas too. But that picture of Mike, and I know he's gonna comment. So that was last year in the Outer Banks. Yes, that was last year. I've been to the Outer Banks. I love the Outer Banks. We're going to the Outer Banks again this year, which is technically in January, so I guess it's next year. But anyway, we're going this season. Mike's never been to the Outer Banks. And I said, Mike, you know what? You never hunted Outer Banks. You going to get the first shot. Now, ain't nobody shooting. You going to get to pull the trigger the first shell. Now, if you miss, it's on us. So before we left the house, we all sitting in the truck. I was like, what y'all want? They all like pintails, redheads. I'm like, I want a clown face sea duck, which almost looks like this sea duck right here. This black one looks kind of like that, but has a clown face that's orange and red. I said, that's all I want is a clown face. So when we got out there that morning, this bird come flying in, and Mike pulls up. He pulls up, and he aims, boom, drops that bird, and as soon as it hits the water, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It was a clown face. Only one we saw. And he let me know it. But it was a great time. Love the Outer Banks. That's the Outer Banks right there. It's the pole. Yeah. Maybe this year we're gonna have some luck. So Jacob says 1.25 ounce, number 6, between 12 and 12.50. Folded ducks 40 and 50 yards. Yep, and that's what Salt Creek is doing. I got the number 2s. I shoot a lot of early geese. So number 2s, they're at 12.50. They are 1 3/8 inch payload. But getting back to, I'm like a squirrel, man. I just jump everywhere. I probably got some OCD and all kinds of stuff going on. But this past weekend, I started a video series that will come out Sunday starting. There's 4 shell companies, name brand companies, which I now have 5, but that's going to be another series. But the 4 shells, they're all number 2s. They're all big brands. I cut them open, show you what's inside, look at the pellets, we weigh them, and then I pattern test them. And then I'm going to pattern test them again with mod chokes. And I'm going to pattern test them again with kick chokes. And then mod kick chokes and all kind of stuff. And then hopefully by that time my retail will be here. And we're going to start shooting them with the retails. So be on the lookout. There's going to be a lot of videos. And there's 2 brands of shells. I can't say right now because I want y'all to watch. There's 2 brands of shells. One is, they both are name brand. One, when I cut it open, had the worst looking pellets I've ever seen in my entire life. They were terrible looking. And they cost twice as much as the cheap box. Now I have to say, they patterned pretty well. Like I was actually surprised of how well they actually patterned the way they looked. I mean, the pellets look like I don't even know what I can come up with a name of how bad the pellets look. But they had pits all in them. I mean, holes, craters. It was not pretty. The second shell, the brand starts with an R. They make rifles and shotguns. Big name. When I pulled the trigger, and you're going to see this on this video. You will not see this video this weekend. This video that I'm talking about will probably be 2-3 weeks away. But I'm shooting it out of my Maxus, which my Maxus is a round receiver. It's just like any kind of other round receiver. You got your trigger here. your cheeks on the buttstock, and you got your ejection port. When I pulled the trigger and it went bang, a fireball came out of the receiver and came about that high. And I'm not talking like fireball out the side. I'm talking fireball, fire coming, lapping up and coming up in the air. And it was right there in my eyes. And I jumped back and was like, what in the world? I'm like, did I catch that on camera? Because it was that much. Now, the Maxus is a gas-operated gun. Typically, you don't see the fire. You sometimes see fire on some shells when shooting inertia guns, because when you shoot an inertia gun, it doesn't use any of the gas or flame or unburnt to help cycle the gun. All that just goes out the barrel. Sometimes with the inertia guns, you will see a flame when it's spitting the shell out and loading the next one up. But this flame looked like it looked like a gas fire. Like it was flaming up, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Did I just get that on camera? And I went and grabbed the camera and looked at it, and I did. Like, it is unreal that my iPhone, which was, I don't know, 5-10 feet away from me, was good enough to catch this fire, and my head coming back, and the fire still lapping up because that much unburnt gunpowder. And it was one of them that was moving at some of the higher speeds. I think it was at 1,400, or it could have been 1,450 feet per second. It's definitely not Salt Creek, but it definitely starts with an R. The shell is black. The box is green. They're known for big green. But wait till you see that video. I kid you not. I can only imagine if if I had any hairspray in my head. We ain't even going to talk about the balding out there. Now, I ain't talking about that. I'm just talking about if I actually had hairspray, like legit, I think it would have like flashed over. That is, and I am not making it up. And if we were not on the live, I would show that video. So, in the next couple of weeks, be on the lookout for that, because you're going to be like, oh my goodness. But it was so much powder in that shell to move that down range that there was unburnt gunpowder which lapped up. So, like, it is almost, I really don't want to shoot it no more. And speaking of that shell, so when I cut these shells open for y'all, I cut them open. I show y'all the wads. I show you what the pellets look like. This particular one that had that flame on it, I have never seen a wad look like this. It was pre-slit, which a pre-slit wad usually has pedestals. They call them pedestals, sides. Basically, when you go boom and it comes out the end of the barrel, the sides open up like this and the pellets come out. I mean, y'all all shot shotguns. You know what the wad looks like. It comes out and the sides bends over. Well, when I pull this shell out, and I'm showing it on camera, it's got 4 slots in it. That's usually called pre-slit. You can buy wads without being pre-slit. A lot of times them are for slugs, where it doesn't need to open up. It's only got one piece of lead in it. But this one had the slots, so I've been showing on the other ones. I opened it up, and I went to grab that pedals, and it would not open. Like, I'm like, what in the world? So I take 2 fingers, and I'm trying to pull that wad apart. And I mean, I'm pulling it. You can see it on camera. It does not split open. I'm like, this thing's going to be a slug coming out of this barrel. So I don't know if it's a bad box. I don't know if it's some bad shells. All I know is it patterned like dog poop. It had a fireball that came out of it, and the wad looks like my dog chewed on it. Like it is burnt on the outside where the splits were supposed to be. It is ripped. And I completely understand it. This is like $18 box of steel. Hey, I understand it is bottom grade. You're not getting the best. I completely understand that. But wait till y'all see it. I mean, I am not making it up. It is, whew. And that is one reason why I reload. You know the products that you're using. They are consistent. They are constantly using the same thing. And that's the same way Keith is with his. Keith is a shot shell manufacturer, but all his stuff is hand loaded. He hands loads it. He does have another guy working for him. Noah's dad works for him too, but them are hand loaded shells. That means he knows the wad that's going in it. He's QCing it as he's making it, and Keith loads some of the awesome. His crimps are some of the amazing crimps that I've ever seen. If you don't know about crimps in reloading, crimps play a big part in reloading. Typically, you got 6 and 8 stars on the end of a barrel, the end of a shell. Typically, like manufacturers typically use 6. A lot of times, like double out bolts would be 6. Teal would number 2s, 3s, BB stuff like that is all 6s. And then once you start getting up in number, which is technically getting smaller in pellet, it goes to 8 stars on the crimp. If you do a terrible crimp job, well, a couple things is going to happen. One, if it's really terrible and you're using small pellets like 7.5 for lead or TSS, well, your pellets are just going to fall out the end. 2, if you don't get a good crimp, it affects the pressure. So if you get one shell that's really tight, you get one shell that's not so tight, you get the next one where you done crimped it so hard that the stars are actually twisted. They all 3 got different pressures. And what's that mean? Well, that changes the feet per second. And I always tell people, find one shell that works good in your gun, that matches that choke, and never change it. Because what I like to do is find shells that run the same speed. If you get used to shooting around 1250, under 1300, doesn't matter the bird, you're going to know how much to lead. If you're shooting one box that's 1200, the next box is 1400, and the next box is 1500, the next box is back down to 1200. You're moving at different feet per second. And especially if you mixed them, you're going to be leading. So your lead is going to be so much off, and people's going to be like, "Well, I seen your videos. You missed ducks." Absolutely, I missed ducks. For the most part, Matt can contest. I'm not saying I am a pro by any means, but I'm pretty decent at shooting skeet. Matt's pretty good too. We usually go back and forth on who's winning, but I took him out on some trap. But yeah, in South Carolina, we don't get a whole lot of decoying ducks. Most of our ducks are passing shots, especially the wood ducks. People say, "Oh, wood ducks decoy," and I had to eat my words last year. I said, "Man, them wood ducks ain't gonna decoy," and we got our limit, and they were decoying like crazy. And I ate my words that day, but typically, we're just going to go on typically, the wood ducks are really fast, and they do not like to decoy. But we get passing shots. We hunt a lot of the marshes. We get down in the marsh and the grass is over our head. Well, hey, we can't see behind us. So by the time they're passing, we're doing passing shots. So yes, we miss. But you don't want shells. Well, what I got in there today, I don't know. Is it faster? Is it slower? Is 30 yards they're going to be the same speed as they are coming out of my barrel? Or at 50 yards they're going to be so slow that they're not going to hit anything? Find a shell that fits your gun and then stick with it. Matt says we need some decoy sponsors. Teal season close. Yeah, I'm all for some sponsors. If you want your name on the boat or at the top of the page, you hit me up. I will definitely take some sponsorship. We had plenty of ducks decoy last year. We did, man. Our early teal, I am not going to lie to you. I thought our early teal season was, granted, let's go back to it. We're in South Carolina. If you ever duck hunted, has anybody ever said, man, I really want to go to South Carolina to duck hunt? Yeah, maybe 30 years ago, but that's not so much now. But man, our early teal season was a banger of a teal season. And then winter came, and I know I went like 3 weeks without even pulling the trigger. But yeah, it was not a good end season. Jake says 35 and beyond, your lead forward advances from 1250 to 1500 isn't going to be noticeable. Yes, at 35 yards, decoying, if you're shooting and decoying, yeah, you'll never see the difference. Guarantee you. Like what Jacob's saying. Decoying a bird, if they're coming in and fixing landing the decoys, it don't matter what you're shooting. Passing shots at 50, 55 yards, and if you're pushing that out to 60 feet per second makes a lot of a difference. And that's where TSS is a game changer if you can afford to shoot it. And right now, TSS is running around $70 to $80 a pound. And you're going to be like, well, that's a pound. Well, talking about reloading, let's just take 1 ounce shells. So if you loaded a 1 ounce shell, well, how many ounces is in a pound? There's 16 ounces in 1 pound. Well, for $75, because you got to pay shipping to ship that TSS, that is for 16 shells. And that is not including the hull, the primer, the powder, and the wad. So TSS is extremely high right now. A lot of that stuff is getting imported from China. With the tariffs right now, TSS is ridiculous. Like I said earlier, the bismuth, man, I love bismuth, but I can't afford to shoot it. I got some shells left over from last year, and I know somebody that has a bunch of left over. So I'm back on the Tony cam here. Tony, I know that you got some boxes left over of bismuth last year because we went hunting and you didn't shoot them all. And, when we go hunting, it's like community. You go, we go. You know what I'm saying? I know where you keep your stash at. So if you're missing any bismuth, don't look at my bag. That's all I got to say. And talking about crimps also. When looking at crimps, especially us waterfowl people, there is a big difference in how shells are made, how they are stored, and how they perform in moisture content. Some hand loaders will put it ain't candle. They make a special glue wax that goes on the end. It keeps moisture from getting in. They actually make a way to seal around the primer so no moisture gets in. Anytime you're around water, especially in the marshes, especially with us kayaking, we're splashing water all the time. And if you got shells that has any kind of way of getting moisture down into your shells that crimp, if you look at the top, and only got fingers here, but when that shell comes down to crimp, if there's a hole at the top because the factory didn't load it correctly and make that not have a hole, where you're going to get moisture down in there. And guess what moisture does? Especially with steel. Well, you're going to have a terrible pattern. Most likely, you could have one of two things. You're either going to become a slug, which you're not going to hit anything, or a barrel obstruction. And we saw that last year out in the Outer Banks. Buddy, we went to the store that night. Bought them. We get in the boat. We get out there. Boat ride might have been a little wet. It was probably 3 and 4 foot waves. Very questionable. Should we probably even been out there? But Mike's shells got damp. Took them out. Like, boat ride, got wet, got in the blind, birds coming. He went click. It did go boom, but it was more of a dud. And it was like, wow. When his gun went to cycle, it jammed. Well, it was a barrel obstruction. When you held the barrel down, the pellets rolled down the barrel, like out. And me and Matt, we took some sticks and some electrical tape, and we made a rod, pushed it out. He shot again. The same thing happened. And we were like, nah, don't shoot no more of them. They got wet. Okay, Matt said they wasn't damp. They got wet. So with being that saying, man, especially in salt water, black water, man, if you get any shells damp, just write them off. If you drop them in the water, pick them up, throw them away, because I do not recommend shooting them. I've been hunting in the rain before, and rain makes duds. But if you get somebody that's good at making shells and they can crimp that can keep a lot of moisture out of your shells. What I plan to do this year, I plan to do, we'll say a box of shells, 25. I'm going to take 10 shells, throw them in the vacuum seal, run them in the vacuum seal, vacuum them out, and then when the vacuum seal puts the line across them, I'm going to pull it down, put 10 more shells in, vacuum seal it, 10 more, vacuum seal it. It doesn't matter if they get wet. My bag got wet last year. It was supposed to be a waterproof floating pack. Yeah, it was floating, but it was not waterproof. It drowned. I had that much water inside my bag. At the end of the day, it was miserable. That's about all I could say. It was miserable. Everything got wet. I had to throw shells away. So this year I am definitely vacuum sealing my shells. And I mean, them vacuum seals are really cheap, so it's not like it's going to cost me a lot to do. But Tony was talking about earlier about the Arkansas. I have not made up my mind yet. I mean, it doesn't take much to twist my arm, like, oh, man, that hurts. Quit twisting it, for me to get talked into going hunting. Typically, it don't take any twisting of my arm. I would be like, let's go. But since my wife has got cancer this year, and surgery and all going on, he wants to go to Arkansas. He's already found a guide. Wants to be take the kids, take his son. If he's watching, that is not the case. He wants to take him to a birthday party. But yeah, I forgot he might be watching. So anyway, take the girls he wants to take the girls to a hunt club, but that's all in maybe in the works. I don't know. It's too early for me. Arkansas will be fun, pretty cool setup place, but it's a little bit early because I already got a couple hunts set up this year. Going to Jersey, New Jersey, going to the Outer Banks, and then teal season coming up. We plan to hit Lake Man I Gotta Pee really bad down there near Man I Gotta Pee Pond. I can't give out my spots, but that kind of looks like it, but that's not it. But yeah, we're planning to hit a couple weekends up for early teal, so I haven't ruled out Arkansas yet. It's probably going to happen. I mean, it has come to the point that Tony, I got to go back to Tony Cam. Where's my Tony Cam? Tony has been politicking with my wife to get this trip up. Politicking. And it's so bad that she's typically like, we need to save money. We need to save money. We need to pay this off. We need to do this. And she's like, I think you ought to go. I think it'd be a great time to go. I'm like, who are you? Hey, Jeff, like, who are you? I cannot believe you're trying to get me out of the house to go to Arkansas. But, yeah, we're definitely, it's on the table. So, hopefully that works out. But, yeah. Let's see. Jacob said Keith and I laugh because we are what they call crimp snobs. We want the perfect crimp. And talking about perfect crimp, and I have not bought one yet because that tool is like $60. And most people are going to be like, well, $60 in the hunting is not that big, which is probably true, but then I got to get a drill press. When you make a crimp on a shell, you can put this tool in a drill bit and it spins down and it makes the shell look so pretty. Like it rounds the corner. I can't even think of what it's called. Starts with an O. I think this company's name. But anyway, it's not the same tool for. And now my mind went completely blank. What is that called? What is the shell called that is not crimped? It's got the overshot card at the end. Oh my goodness! It's at the end of the day. It's 9 o'clock and I can't think. Anyway, there's two types of tools. One is for the one with the overshot card, and my mind is completely blank. And I know in 20 seconds, by the time I ramble on, he's going to comment and tell me what I'm trying to think here. But anyway, this tool will round it out. It makes it where it cycles better. It helps the crimps. I got to get one of them, and I got to get a drill press set up in my reloading station. Let's see. That's what he says, Matt. Matt talking about Tony. Man, they trying to. So if people don't know, that's Tony right there. That joker right there. He also has been going through some stuff. If you saw the where we went to Reelfoot Lake and turkey season, Tony just went through cancer too. I'm pretty sure it was stage 3. I don't think it was stage 4. But he just had surgery, just went through chemo and all the treatments, and he is still not 100% recovered. So if y'all tonight would say any prayers, keeping Tony and my wife as two close people in my group that is dealing with cancer. So there he is again. He just keeps pulling up. Maybe if I go to Tony Cam, I don't have to look at that joker. But yeah, that was what we call the before he took his treatments, and but we had a really good time out there hunting. So I don't know if he's pulling the heartstring with my wife who has got cancer, and he's like, this needs to be the guy's kind of thing. I'm not sure, but I'm probably pretty sure he is using that string and pulling on her heartstring to let me go hunting. And like I said, typically I jump in the truck and go. So we shall see. He's got her dialed in. So maybe they conniving some kind of plan. As long as we eat good, that's all that matters. As long as we eat good, I'm down for the ride. Jeff says Nebraska football tomorrow and Dove on Friday. Yep, Jeff. That's what we were talking about at the beginning. Dove season opens up for us. Goose season opens up for us this weekend. A lot of football is going on. And Jeff, I know you just coming in. Jeff is an hour behind. I think he's Central. I think it's only 1 hour. But Jeff's 1 hour behind. Jeff, my wife's having surgery this weekend, so early goose and dove season is going to be put on hold for me to another week, depending on how she does. Maybe Sunday morning, Monday, I might can sneak out and call in some honkers, a little bit of honk. But I'm not ruling that. I ain't even saying that's what I'm going to do. I'm hoping that her surgery goes good. I know that they already looked in her little chart thing that said as soon as surgery's over, she's going to be out walking and getting up and exercising. So I'm hoping her recovery is going to be good, but they're pretty much going to be cutting her belly line. And if you know any women who have ever had C-sections, when you cut that muscle across your belly, it is pretty sore to recovery. So, yeah. But that's about all I got tonight. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I got to jump off here. I got a little bit of work, like real work that I got to do before going to bed tonight. But, yeah, like I said at the very beginning, also keep in your prayers the gun shooting this morning at the school, the church, the Catholic church. I don't get caught up in denominations at that point, because them were somebody's kids, and I wouldn't want somebody to be like, oh, he's a Baptist or he's a Methodist or no. At that time, that is still somebody's kids. That is still somebody who was worshiping what they worship. It doesn't matter if I'm worshiping over here what I think I should be worshiping. There should be nobody coming in there trying to kill me because I want to worship my God. I'm not killing somebody for whoever God they believe in. So there's definitely going to be the next couple of days. Every time there's a school shooting, it's gun control, or this person was unstable, or this, that, pointing fingers. It's not good for our country. It's not going to be good for that city, that state. It's going to be very political driven. The first couple of days are going to be, sad for the parents, the kids, and then it's going to turn political. So again, it's another sad point in our country, but nobody should be killed just because they choose to go to whatever church or whatever they choose. That is why we live in our country. You got free rights. If you want to worship whoever, that's on you and your maker, but you shouldn't be killed for it. So it hurts to hear. People are like, well, that only happens in big cities. It don't. It don't. there's crazies all over the place. A lot of times our systems that we have in place could could have stopped half this stuff, but that's a different talking point for a different day. So definitely keep them people in your prayers tonight. There's a lot of families that is definitely being touched right now. Um, I mean, I don't even know what to say because I wouldn't know what to do if something happened like that in my life. So keep them in your prayers tonight. Keep my wife in the prayers for surgery Friday, and keep that knucklehead up there in your prayers too. He did have a scan done this last 2 days ago, one day ago. I think it was two. Um, that he was kind of thinking maybe the cause, and it came back good. So hopefully, we're planning on having Tony. I need to change the Tony camera because I know he's watching. You got 20 days to get prepared to kayak. 20 days. So I plan to take him kayak hunting. He has never kayaked. I don't even know if he's even kayaked, to tell you the truth. But he has definitely never kayaked duck hunting. And so there may be, let me go back to the Tony cam. There may be a gator out there. That's all I can say. There may or may not be a gator. So if you ever hunted in the marsh early till season, there's two things you're going to definitely probably see: gator eyeballs and mosquitoes that's the size of an eastern turkey that will almost make the kayak flip when they land on the front of them. Thermocell and bug spray is key. Number one and number two. Toilet paper would be number three, and then shotgun, and then shells. That's how it follows in the early till season in South Carolina. If you do not have bug spray or thermocell, God help you. That's all I can say. So, all right. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you want some pretty cool t-shirts, go check out rdreynoldsoutdoors.com. There's a bunch of t-shirts on there, hats, some merch stuff. I make a dollar off of maybe one shirt or something. So, who coming up here? Who that is? Oh man, she already in her pajamas. Well, one good thing, I do not have to worry about her taking out the boat, because she is not going to come on this side of the camera. So, all right, well, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'll see y'all next week. Y'all stay safe, and here's a word from our sponsors. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made full waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure, ammunition. You got predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for, give Keith a call. Also to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people will know them as Kick Chokes, has came on board, and I have done a bunch of series lately on waterfowl choke tubes, turkey choke tubes, deer choke tubes. So go check out Kick's website for all of the chokes that can fit your guns. Flint Ridge Hauling Service LLC has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service LLC prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle.